Well, hello everyone. It's Sybil Starr. I'm here to give the astrology update for May. Well, it's really mainly the Taurus New Moon because I'm going to be having a second video for the eclipse that happens at the end of May. So we're going to be talking about the Taurus New Moon, and I'm going to first share the chart. Okay. But, as I say, the new moon sets the tone for the next 30 days. From that, it's like planting a seed, setting an intention. So it is the overarching energy. And there are some other things that are happening between now and the end of May that I'll be talking a little bit about as well. And even more so in the second video this month of the lunar eclipse. All right. So here is the chart. I'm going to just share it with you first of the Taurus new moon. It occurs on May 11th, 2021 at 11:58 a.m. Pacific time. Okay. And so it occurs at 21 degrees, 17 minutes of Taurus. And this new moon is actually really plugged into this chart. It's an aspect to every single one of the outer planets within an acceptable degree of an orb. Okay. So first off, so we'll be talking about Taurus and what that means. It's conjunct the what's called Black Moon Lilith. We're going to be talking about her. It's in a trine, which is an easy flow of energy to Pluto. And even an easy flow of energy to Pluto can be challenging because Pluto brings up soul healing. But with a trine, it's not as explosive or abrupt or difficult. I mean, trines are more of an easy flow. So there's an opportunity to do some soul growth that may not hurt quite so much. Okay. We call them FGOs, growth opportunities. All right. And it's in a wide square to Saturn, a wide square to Jupiter. It's sextile. The new moon is sextile Neptune, and it is widely conjunct the planet Uranus. All right. And its ruler here is Venus here at 3 degrees of Gemini, which is conjunct the North Node in Mercury. So, and there's of course still going on the Saturn Uranus square. Saturn is at 13 degrees of Aquarius in a square to Uranus at 11 degrees of Taurus. So that's what we're going to be talking about. All right. So the question is, right, what does all of this mean? So we begin with Taurus. So what is Taurus? What does Taurus bring? It is the second sign of the zodiac. It is a fixed sign, and it's an earth sign, and it's actually the sign most associated with Mother Earth. It's very grounded, very practical, very sensual, very much of the body. And it's also ruled by Venus. Venus is actually the traditional ruler of Taurus. But there's many astrologers who feel that it's just as connected to Mother Earth. So they're both there. And actually today is May 5th, the day that I'm recording it, because I'm going out of town next week when the actual full moon happens. Or not, excuse me, full moon, the new moon happens. And astrologically, today is the astrological Beltane. It's at 15 degrees of Taurus, and the 15 degrees of the fixed signs are actually the exact midpoint between the solstices and the equinoxes. And so Beltane is exactly halfway between spring equinox and summer solstice. And so everything about Taurus is really, really exaggerated and strong today. And it's also what we call, it's what is it, 555. It's May 5th on December 20, on May 5th in 2021, and 2021 equals 5. So it's saying it's a 555 portal. And that's actually 15, which is 15 degrees of Taurus for Beltane. And the cross quarter days are portals. They're actually energy gateways. So, but I'm calling this new moon surrender to the sweetness. There's a oracle deck that I use, and it's a card that I seem to pull a lot. And I feel like it's absolutely reminding me of that, of surrendering to the sweetness of life. We get so caught up in the troubles that we forget how beautiful it is. And May is the most beautiful time of the month for almost everywhere, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. The fragrance of the flowers, the air, the animals are mating, and that's what Beltane is. Beltane is a fertility festival, the fertility of the land and the fertility of the people. And so I want to share with you a prayer from a woman named Maria Sabina. Some of you may be familiar with her. She is a Mexican woman who introduced, I'm going to say, it's the Western civilizations in this time frame, or at least North America, to the Niños Santos, the little children, also known as the magic mushrooms, the psilocybin mushrooms. She was a Mexican curandera who worked with those. And in Mexico, they have a long line, a long tradition, a long lineage of working ceremonially. They understand the sacredness of this plant. Anyway, this is her prayer. Heal yourself with the light of the sun and the rays of the moon, with the sound of the river and the waterfall, with the swaying of the sea and the fluttering of birds. Heal yourself with mint, neem, and eucalyptus. Sweeten with lavender, rosemary, and chamomile. Hug yourself with the cocoa bean and a hint of cinnamon. Put love in tea instead of sugar, and drink it looking at the stars. Heal yourself with the kisses that the wind gives you and the hugs of the rain. Stand strong with your bare feet on the ground and with everything that comes from it. Be smarter every day, listening to your intuition, looking at the world with your forehead. Jump, dance, sing, so that you live happier. Heal yourself with beautiful love and always remember, you are the medicine. So I feel like this is the message of Taurus. It's about our connection to Mother Earth and letting Mother Earth heal us. And listening to our body wisdom, our body wisdom. Our bodies are a gift from Mother Earth. And they have her instinctual wisdom. We just need to slow down. Taurus is about slowing down, and it's slowing down and smelling the flowers, as they say, smelling the roses. Slow down and smell the roses. Life is too short to not have the pleasure and the enjoyment of being here in this beautiful, beautiful goddess that is Mother Earth. Mother Earth is one of the faces of the Great Mother, the Great Cosmic Mother. And she can hold us, and she loves us, and we are her children. And so to take that time to be with her, because she can heal us. And there's something really lovely that I read by John Muir, and he talked about instead of hiking, he said he didn't like the word hiking. He said we should be sauntering in nature, taking our time, being fully in her presence and feeling her energy. And he says it comes from a phrase called, what is it? It was the people that were going to the Holy Land, and people would ask them, where are you going? And their phrase was, "A la Santere," and that's probably mispronounced, so excuse me for that. But it meant to the Holy Land, and that Mother Earth everywhere is the Holy Land. and that when we are out in her, we should be respectful in her presence and listen to her, because there are messages in the wind and in the water and in the ground, and walking on the feet, walking on Mother Earth barefoot. There's ions that come from Mother Earth that heal us. It's called earthing, is being so connected to her. And so to use this time in this next month of this time of Taurus, to be deeply connected to Mother Earth, and to slow down and let her hold you and heal you, and listen to your own body wisdoms and instincts. Taurus is also about inner peace. It's not that your life has to be peaceful, because life isn't. I mean, we are in a storm, but it is about being like the tree in the storm, whose roots go deep down into the ground while the storm swirls around. And to be like that tree. And if we are deeply rooted and connected to Mother Earth, we can be like that tree and stand solid and firm and in our own truth and in our own and in peace. And it is in peace where we make the best decisions, not in fear. And Taurus is also about keeping things simple. Eat when you're hungry, sleep when you're tired. And so I love this quote that I saw today. It said, "Unplug from the drama, recharge with the mama." So it is unplugging from the drama of your life, going out in Mother Nature, turning off all your devices. Don't take your phone to the park with you. Just lay down in the grass, let the sunlight beat down upon your face, smell the fragrance, and let mom hold you. And Taurus is also about comfort and security. It's one of the signs most associated with security, and Taurus definitely likes comfort. Now, the challenges, of course, there's always challenges. And so this new moon is conjunct Black Moon Lilith. She's actually a point in space. And what she actually means is two things. One, it is the dark side of the moon. So it represents the dark side of Taurus. And, but the goddess Lilith is like the Middle Eastern version of Kali. She carries a sword of truth, and she cuts through anything that is not true or authentic in our lives. And in Taurus, it has to do with the body. And so I feel like one of the things that is coming up and also this Black Moon Lilith Sun Moon conjunction is trine Pluto, and Pluto is about soul healing. So there isn't, and it's a trine, so it's an easy flow. It's not as dramatic, but Pluto is always a little dramatic. And so it's bringing up the opportunity to heal any places where we're carrying shame, especially body shame. And a friend of mine who is a really wonderful healer says that confronting shame is the gateway to healing. Shame is what closes the door and doesn't allow us often to look at ourselves when we are feeling ashamed. But when we can open that door and look at it and feel it, we can then move through it and realize that it probably wasn't ours to begin with. Pluto is in Capricorn, and so it's about conditioning. It is the Pluto represents soul healing, so it also brings up what is a wound, and it's a collective wound. It's not just our individual wound. There is a collective wound around body shame, especially around women's bodies, and that is spirit moved into matter, that somehow there was something wrong with it, and especially anything sexual. And so, Taurus, I didn't talk about that, but Taurus loves the five senses and needs pleasure and, things that taste good, feel good, smell good. And so that's one way to really work through the body shame is to let yourself feel, to love yourself. It's about self-love. It's about self-love and doing it through the senses and through the body. Things that smell good, taste good, feel good. Allow yourself to have good food. Allow yourself to listen to beautiful music. Allow yourself to just breathe in and drink all of the beauty of your body and Mother Earth. And the other piece is very much about body sovereignty. Lilith carries the sword of truth about, and she says, no one owns our bodies but ourselves. We were given our bodies by Mother Earth, and they are for us to care for and to make the choices and to trust our own instinctual body wisdom and guidance. And like I said, no one owns your body but you. Not this church, not the state, not your partner, not your family. Our bodies belong to each one of us. And so Pluto brings up places of disempowerment so that we can make different choices. And we have a culture and a society that have been disempowered by giving our bodies away to authority outside of ourselves. And I'm talking about the medical profession. Okay, yes, we go to see doctors when we're not feeling well, but they give us opinions. It's ultimately always our choice. Okay, and that's the key to remember. And so listening to our instinctual wisdom about our bodies. Another place where we've made disempowering choices is in Taurus, is around comfort, making choices based in comfort and security, wanting everything to go back to the way it was. Nothing is going back to the way it was because we're in a collapsing paradigm. We're being asked to make different choices, and they might be risky because and the only reason they're risky is because because we're in times of uncertainty and don't really know. But the old tried and true isn't going to hold anymore because we're in a collapsing paradigm. And so it's just so important to also remember the sacredness of our body and that our body is a temple given to us by Mother Earth. Now, Uranus is conjunct this new moon, is wide, but Uranus represents brings in what is called the mind of God. And in Taurus, it's about the divine intelligence of nature. There is a divine intelligence in nature. And it's, when we can allow ourselves to trust the divine intelligence of nature, we can understand that everything is as it should be. Just because we don't understand it all, and to allow ourselves to flow with what is, because there's an old paradigm collapsing and a new one coming in, and Mother Earth herself is shifting into higher levels of consciousness, and we are moving with her. And so there's so much we have to let go of. It's about aligning our frequency with the frequency of Mother Earth. And anything that is not aligned will ultimately fall away. Uranus shakes us out of our comfort zone and reminds us that it is not the change that is painful. It is our resistance to the change. And so at some point, it's just allowing things to be as they are. And as they say, necessity is the mother of invention, making new and different choices, knowing things are not going back to the way they were. And the truth is, the way they were wasn't serving people, and that's why it's collapsing. Now, the Saturn-Uranus square continues, and I feel like it's there's so many teachings that are coming from this, and it's lasting for a whole year. And Saturn is always a teaching in self-mastery in some way. And I feel like with Uranus, it's about vibration, it's about frequency. It's a soul mastery test, actually. It's a soul mastery course in becoming masters of our own vibration, of our own frequency. And understanding that we are the field and that it is our vibration and frequency that is creating the world. And so what this actually means is how we master our frequency is becoming aware of our triggers, and as they come up, because our triggers are actually a place where we're holding fear. And when we can when we can breathe and recognize that we've been triggered, something that has happened is is about us. It's about our own trigger. And when we can recognize what something in there is afraid or scared in some way, and letting it come into our conscious awareness of, and it doesn't even always, we don't even have to always know what it is about. As we recognize what it is, breathe through it and release it and let it go. Okay. And the other thing is, when we do surrender to the sweetness of life, that actually increases our vibration. That is our work, is to increase our vibration and to keep it high, and like unplug from the drama. The drama is the low vibration. It's the low frequency. And if the more we align our energy with Mother Earth and with that inner peace and inner calm, is when we keep our vibration high instead of always reacting to the world around us. It's pulling it into our own center. Okay. It's also about the Saturn and Uranus, about the old versus the new. Squares are always about integration, but it can feel like coming up against some hard edges. Okay. And so I'm seeing this a lot. I'm going to say in my own, in the field of astrology, many astrologers, the older astrologers, are coming up into, there's a clash happening between the old astrologers and the newer astrologers, which is kind of an interesting thing that I see happening. And I'm going to just say that, there is absolute ancient wisdom that wants to come forward. And it is actually part of the way forward. But it is the paradigm, it is the structure that is collapsing, because it doesn't hold us anymore. And just even astrologers are doing that, trying to hold on to an old paradigm that is collapsing. And so it's just really important to know this is happening. There is resistance and dissent versus the old status quo. Okay, because the status quo is changing. It is shifting into the new consent. There is a new consensus reality happening, which is we're moving a consensus reality based on quantum mechanics, that we create everything that we are doing. Okay, everything that is, the world is created from the inside out. That is the new understanding. Okay. And there's this great quote from Socrates, and it's called, "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but building the new." So I feel like the square is saying there is ancient wisdom coming forward, but there's also pieces of this old paradigm that just have to go as we build the new, and really focus your energy on building the new. Now, Jupiter is at 29 degrees of Aquarius, which is the last degree, and it's going to be going into Pisces on May 23rd. Not 20th, May 13th, excuse me, May 13th. And but it's going to be in Pisces for 2.5 months and then come back into Aquarius. And Jupiter in Aquarius, I feel like a big piece of this, it's, Jupiter in Aquarius is very visionary, and it is about having faith in the new future for humanity that is coming. And it is hard to keep our vibration high in the middle of a collapsing paradigm, because it is triggering all of our stuff so that it can come to the surface and be released. And yet we're being asked to have faith in that new vision, that to not give up. Okay. And when Jupiter moves into Pisces, I feel like, so Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. And so they actually have some very similar energy. So it's very powerful there. And they're both about the opening and closing of doors. It's like, it's kind of the opening. Jupiter's always about opening and closing of doors, but in Pisces, it's even more so. So there's doors that want to open and doors that will close, so those new doors can open. And Pisces is so much about intuition. It's so much about feeling our way forward. And if it feels right, it is right. I also believe that it is a spiritual awakening to other realms, to realize that, and I'm just going to share something that works for me, and it may work for you or not. So I see that my way to make sense of life is to look at it as though as we slip on these skins, we slip into a virtual reality, which is Earth School. But there's a much bigger reality. And we've come here for soul growth. And that there is a whole realm of the invisible that we can't see that is just as real as the visible world. And with Jupiter in Pisces, I believe there is the potential for a spiritual awakening to the fact that we are not alone, that we have never been alone. And as that Mother Earth is making these shifts into higher dimensions, that we are going with her. And the question is not, are we going with her? It's just how difficult or smooth will the transition be? And that the whole universe is here to support us, and we can call upon our guides and our angels and our star family and the world of the invisible. They are here to support us and to believe and trust and have faith in that. I feel like Jupiter in Pisces is also about unity consciousness. It brings in the unconditional love of the universe and remembering who we are. And to remember that the truth of the matter is nothing will remain of us but what was in our hearts and what we put into the field. Because that is what the real truth is that is how we not only raise our own vibration, but raise the vibration and the frequency of the field that we are in, is by what we put into it with our own hearts and our own intentions. And to remember too that we are in a field of infinite possibility. And the last thing I want to talk about is the ruler of this Taurus new moon, which is Venus, which is in Gemini, which is conjunct Mercury in the North Node. And Gemini is so much about awe and wonder and opening up to the field of all possibility and recognizing the magic of words that we create with our words. Our words have vibration and frequency. And so being so careful as to how we say what we want to say, to make sure we're clear, that we say what we mean what we say, and we say it in the highest vibrational frequency that we can. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about this when the sun moves into Gemini and at the two eclipses that Gemini is involved with coming up. And I want to close this with setting a prayer, a verbal prayer and intention. And that is with the Sabian symbol for this new moon, which is a white dove flying straight and fearlessly over troubled water. I mean, what a beautiful image. You know, a dove is the Holy Spirit. It is a great spirit descending upon us. The white dove is also a symbol of peace, and birds are messengers of spirit, and is flying straight and true on a mission fearlessly over the troubled waters. And so sharing a beautiful prayer here. As we trust the divine intelligence of Mother Earth and surrender to her sweetness, we are aligned with spirit, fearlessly bringing messages of peace and love to a troubled world. All right, well, I wish everyone a wonderful month. If you liked this video, please check subscribe, and you can also follow me on my website at civillstar.com or on my Facebook page, Star Nation Oracle. All right, wishing you all a wonderful month.